David here with figbootonpens. One of the great things about going to pen shows is seeing something new, something that you weren't even aware of that piques your interest. And that moment of discovery is always a lot of fun. While I was at the DC Pen Show, I discovered the Kanilea Pen Company. Now, that's where a lot of folks discovered the company because they had just launched their website just a couple of days prior to the show. And what I'm going to do is talk about one of their pens that I purchased, go over some of the parts and the features of the pen, talk about what I care for, what I don't care for about it, show some measurements, some size comparisons, and then provide a writing sample. The Kanilea Pen Company was founded by the husband and wife team of Hugh and Carol Shear. Kanilea actually means joyful sound in Hawaiian. The company and their products are themed around Hugh and Carol's love for the Hawaiian Islands and the connection that they feel with the unique locations and elements of nature that are found there. Kanilea has a number of pens in their line, all of which have some really amazing acrylics. As I said, each is based on either a location or an element of nature. And each pen has an accompanying picture, which serves as the inspiration for the pen. And that's something that I feel they've really done well, is capturing the essence of the inspiration photo. You know what? I'll show a couple of them here with images from their site, used with permission from Kanilea. Here's a picture of a very nice Hawaiian beach. And here is the Kahakai pen with the sand transitioning into the water, which transitions into the deeper blue sky. The transitions on this acrylic are just stunning. Something I haven't seen before. I've seen a lot of swirls before, but nothing like transitions like this. Next we have a picture of some lava, and then we have the Kilauea model, named after the volcano on the Big Island of Hawaii. I was in Hawaii on vacation a number of years ago and had the opportunity to take a helicopter tour over the Kilauea volcano as it was erupting, and it was truly, truly spectacular. Seeing the bright orange red of the spewing lava is really something I'll never forget. And then what happens is the lava flows just under the surface like a river, and once it gets all the way down the mountain to the coast, it actually pours into the ocean. There's just billowing steam that you could see for miles and miles, and the island of Hawaii is just constantly getting bigger by all of this lava being added to the island, and that's cooled down as soon as it hits the ocean. I wish that model had a little bit more red in it. It might have been one that I would have picked up. But one more that I wanted to show you was a picture of this sunset. And then there is the Kohala Sun model in brilliant orange. Now, if this pen represented the lava, then I probably would have picked up this one to tie into my experience with the volcano. You see, a nice pen is good. A nice pen with a story, especially one that you can tie to a personal experience, is better. Enough about their other models. Let me show you the one that I picked up. The pen comes in this very nice wooden box. It has a sleeve on it, which is actually infused with wildflowers. I don't know if you can kind of see that in there, which is a nice touch. I was waiting until after I did this review, but I think I might just plant these in my backyard. I'm not sure if I can actually do it now or if I should wait until spring. I admit I don't know much about plants. I could grow a solid weed, though. So we'll set that aside. The sleeve slips off and you have this really well-crafted wooden box. You can tell Hugh and Carol put a really great deal of thought and effort into creating quality packaging and professional branding of their pens. Most pen boxes are rather useless once you receive the pen, but this one I'll have to repurpose. It's a little too nice to throw away. It has the Kanilea hibiscus logo on the top there, and one of the girls in the house has a name that translates to hibiscus in another language, so my guess is that this will be going to her once I'm done with this review. The lid lifts up, and it's really held shut by two rather strong magnets. I will say that it was a little frustrating at first just because it's really hard to tell which side of the box actually opens, and that I actually had to learn the orientation of the stigma on the hibiscus logo so that I knew which end to actually open up. But once you open it up, inside you will find two standard international cartridges. They're red, they're blue, excuse me, I believe. And then there are, get this out of here. There are some filling and care instructions. And then the pen. And the pen comes in this little drawstring bag with the hibiscus logo. And actually the back side of the instructions has the inspiration picture for this pen. And this is what that looks like. And then here's a better look at the picture with this nice pipeline wave from the north shore of Oahu. The name of the model I picked up is called the Nui Nalu, which translates appropriately enough to big wave in Hawaiian. And this is what the pen looks like. I think this just looks incredible. It does a great job of depicting a crashing wave and a swirling sea foam. I chose this model because I grew up in Southern California, San Diego to be more specific, and I spent lots of time at the beach. I would go surfing on a regular basis, and beach is just part of the culture where I grew up. And that there is definitely a oneness that you feel with the ocean when you're out there paddling around catching waves. And that's what this pen reminds me of. And like I mentioned previously, that it's that personal connection to experiences that can really make a pen or anything else special. We have some really nice beaches in North Carolina, but the surfing, not so hot. Kanilea offers each of their pens in a number of different styles. Some are straighter, some are more tapered, some are meant to be clipless, and in others you have a choice of whether you prefer a clip. I typically like my pens to have a clip on them. I have a few pens without them that I love, but for the most part, I'm using a pen all day at work, and that I find it really convenient to be able to just put the pen in my pocket, rather than having to put it in a sleeve or my pants pocket while I'm walking around the office. Their clipless models have their hibiscus logo on the finial, which actually looks really nice. But on this specific pen, having the logo there would have covered up one of my favorite features of the pen. So take a look at this. Very cool. The swirling pattern here on the end of the cap really reminds me of the tube of a wave. I just love it. It's just beautiful. Then we have the clip. And the clip functions well. It doesn't have too much spring to it, but it's made of sterling silver, and after having this pen for a couple of weeks, it did tarnish a bit, like silver is apt to do, but the tarnish polished right out. And so that's something that you might need to do every so often if you opt for a model with a clip, is to have to polish it a bit. I'm not sure if keeping the pen in the cotton pouch it came with would help prevent the tarnishing or not. Then we have the cap. It's kind of funny. I thought this cap actually tapered down a bit, but when I went to measure it, I found it was perfectly straight. The waves in the acrylic and the barrel, which kind of tapers down a bit at the end, create a little bit of an optical illusion that it does taper. In regard to the waves in the acrylic, just look at this. The use of color, the blue and the white, and the swirling really, really look amazing. There is a small step down from the cap to the barrel, which is straight for a bit and then actually does taper down to the end. And then the end on my pen is perfectly blue, dark blue. And with these materials, no two pens are going to be the same. So they really are unique pieces of art. The cap twists off to reveal this number 6 Yovo nib. Now, there is a bit of a blank spot on this steel nib. It doesn't affect the performance in any way. I just thought it was a bit of missed opportunity to have some branding on there, whether it be the hibiscus logo or something else. And here's a look at the low profile plastic feed, which I think looks kind of sharp. You'll see in the writing sample, but Hugh does a very good job of tuning these nibs. The one I received here performs very, very well. The section has an elongated flare at the end and then tapers up to a small step up and then the cap threads, which I don't find to be very sharp at all. And then there's a larger step up to the barrel. The cap does not post especially deep, and it does make for a long pen, but it does post securely, and the addition of the cap really doesn't backweight the pen, in my opinion. And I also like that the cap posts far back enough on the barrel that on my hand, the cap doesn't rub against my hand, which is always kind of an annoyance. If this is a little bit of a sharp edge and it rubs on your hand, I don't particularly care for that. This is a cartridge converter pen. As I showed previously, it does come with two standard international short cartridges and a standard international converter as well. When a pen company first starts out, sometimes it takes them a while to get things right. And I have been very impressed with the materials and the craftsmanship of this pen, as well as the others that I saw at the DC show. The Kanilea Pen Company has done a very good job right out of the box on their first line of pens. One of the few downsides to this pen is the cost. Each of their models retails for $395 from their website, and so it is not an inexpensive pen. There is a large number of pens out there that you could purchase for that amount that are very, very nice. So the ultimate question is it worth it? If it was $425, I probably wouldn't have purchased it. Well, maybe I would have, but I wouldn't have been happy about it. But in my opinion, $395 is really pushing the upper value for this pen for me. And that being said, it is virtually a one-of-a-kind piece of art that is very well crafted, and as we see in the writing sample, performs very well. I have been very pleased with the performance of this pen, and it's definitely an attention grabber, and something I really do enjoy using. So now it's time for some measurements, some size comparisons, and then a writing sample. So here we go with some size comparisons for the Kanilea Nui Nalu. First of all, here it is with a Mont Blanc 149. And then here it is with a Pilot Vanishing Point. And then here it is with a new edition that actually just came in the mail yesterday, which is a Visconti Divina Elegance. And we'll definitely be taking a look at that pen in a little bit. Then in regard to some other pens, we have a Lamy 2000, we have a Pelikan M800, actually 805, excuse me, and then here is a Lamy All-Star. Okay, so here we have the Kanilea and this is a medium steel nib, and the ink I'm using is an ink that I picked up in DC called Kobe, and this is number 17, which is Shoya Blue. The Kobe inks, like I said, I picked them up in DC. Very interesting. They come in this box here, and it's a standard Sailor bottle, but they're a series of over 50 inks produced in partnership with Sailor that represent different aspects of the Japanese city Kobe, and there is a part of Kobe called the Shioya, which is an area where a large number of Westerners reside, and it's an excellent viewpoint to look at the vast inland sea, which is represented by this nice blue ink, which I thought was appropriate for a pen inspired by the ocean. This is what the ink actually looks like. And I think it looks somewhat similar to Konpeki. It's just slightly lighter, but it does have a lot of that sheen and pop to it. And just as a comparison, here's what it looks like in regard to Ackerman Shocking Blue, which is another one of my favorite blues. But so far, I've really enjoyed this Kobe ink. It's very nice. So here we go with the rest of the writing sample. Actually, you know what? On Kanilea's website, they actually have a section where they suggest ink pairings for your pen. They suggest that this pen would pair nicely with Carandash Hypnotic Turquoise or Diamine Marine, which happen to be two inks that I don't own. So maybe that'll give me an excuse to pick one of them up to go with this pen. So here we go with the rest of the writing sample. Almost ran out of space there. This is, like I mentioned before, that Hugh has done a very good job of tuning this nib. It is very decently smooth, and that, you know, with a steel nib, you're not going to get tons of line variation. You can get a little if you push it out of there, but it's very, very pleasant to write with. And in regard to wetness, it is a decently wet pen. I find it to be plenty juicy enough. I haven't had any flow issues whatsoever. And in regard to reverse writing, it is a little sharp, but the ink flow does work well on it. And in regard to some fast writing, there's no issue whatsoever. There was a little here, but that was because I actually lifted the nib off the page. But it performs very, very well. So there we have the Kanilea Nui Nalu. It's a very unique pen which performs very well from a very interesting company. If you'd like to learn more about this pen as well as the others in their collection, I'll put a link to the notes in the notes to their site so you can check it out for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.